into his new life. It was the most stable existence he had known since early childhood.
The structure and style and position of authority held in prison were the highest position he ever held in society. If a hurricane blew down the prison, the only prisoner who would not walk away would be Richard Speck.
Beginning in 1976, just 10 years after the brutal murders, Speck became eligible for parole. The families of the slain women were forced to relive their nightmare.
I don't think that they should ever release him, and I hope and pray that people will never forget this case and back us up after we're gone.
Speck was repeatedly denied parole. He realized that freedom was impossible and disappeared into the depths of the prison's bizarre subculture, a dehumanizing world of violence and sexual abuse ruled by only one law: survival. By 1991, Richard Speck had been in prison for more than half his life. On December 5th, only one day shy of his 50th birthday, he suffered a sudden heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital but could not be saved. The life of Richard Speck, notable only for one savage night of violence, was over.
His family didn't want his body. Nobody did. And he was cremated, and no one knows except two people where his ashes were even strewn.
But the legacy of his heinous crimes did not fade away quite so easily. In 1996, Chicago investigative journalist Bill Curtis uncovered a grotesque reminder of Richard Speck. The disturbing video in which Speck discusses the murders and shows evidence of his bizarre life behind bars.
How'd you feel after killing those ladies?
Like I always felt. Had no feeling. And if I felt sorry or anything, no.
More shocking than Speck's lack of remorse was his change in appearance. Apparently through the use of hormones, he had transformed his body to ensure his survival in one of America's most dangerous prisons.
He had the certain trappings of a female body that made him very desirable to inmates. The breasts and the, silk feminine underwear were all part of a scheme by which he kept himself alive, and not only alive, but well supplied with goodies like liquor and cocaine, because he was what's known as a queen bee in the penitentiary. And it worked. He didn't get killed like Dahmer. Absolutely cunning survivor.
Yeah, Joe, you know how much fun I've had. It turned me loose.
That's also what disappointed a lot of people. We wanted him to hurt. We wanted him to be in pain. We wanted him to die.
But Speck may have suffered a fate worse than death: 25 years of humiliation and abuse.
Do you like being by men?
Absolutely.
Have you always liked being by men?
Sure.
You wearing blue pants today?
Yeah. Can you see
Take some of that
Huh?
Take some of that stuff off.
Take what?
They could have been prostituting him out, too, and maybe they were. He was probably punished more the way it went than had they have executed him.
It was a grotesque transformation. The psychiatrist who became Speck's only confidant believes that by forfeiting his manhood, Speck found a way to punish himself for his crimes.
He felt that somewhere along the line, he had to experience the same kind of degradation and humiliation that he had inflicted on others. To feel that he had taken a woman's place, was being used as he had used women.
He was a miserable person who lived a miserable life. I think he got his justice.
So often we create a monster out of Richard Speck, and sometimes it is worthwhile to back off and say, well, maybe he wasn't a monster. Maybe he was all too human. That is the most frightening thing of all.
They are predators.
She was like Spider.
He was a perfect killing